What's up guys, it's Austin and welcome to today's video. This one is going to be about the black-eyed children. Now, I've done a series of the black-eyed children, going and looking for them, seeing if they're real, and seeing if I could get any signs of them being around in general, because they're very different spirits. Basically what they do, they go to people's door, they ask to be let in. This is not something a normal spirit does, and I went to an occultist for my attachment series, but this wasn't part of it. This was a whole separate conversation, so I wanted this to be a different video. I asked him, are the black-eyed children real? With like knocking at the door, asking to be let in. Now what these kids look like, to know that it's the black-eyed children, I guess, some of them wear like a plaid shirt or they wear a hoodie, any normal type of clothing. But the one thing that isn't normal about them is once you see their eyes, their entire eye is black. And once people see their eyes, they get this immediate feeling of dread, like something is wrong. They experience that feeling of dread before they even show their eyes or even look up at the person, because they have their head down the whole time that they're talking to you, with their hood up or whatever, or they have their head down and their hair is just covering their eyes. And then eventually you get deep enough into the conversation, then they start to show what they really are. Some people think they are demonic, some people think they're extraterrestrial, like they're aliens. I personally think they're demonic because demonic spirits need an invitation to come in. And what they do is they'll come up to your door and they'll say, "Can I come in?" And then eventually they start to get very demanding if you don't let them in. If you're just like kind of like, I don't know if I should do that or whatever, they'll ask to use your phone, they'll ask to use the bathroom, anything that'll trick you into letting them in. And there's not very many stories of where people let them in, or really any stories. I think there's maybe one. So the question we got into is, are they real? Here's what we talked about. Black-eyed children, I did a series on them just last year, like researching them a ton, going to places where they would be seen. Are they real, or is this like some kind of legend people made up?
You see, this is one of the things that we have to be very, very careful about. First off, yes, black-eyed children are real.
Really?
Yeah. It's been a far older phenomenon than just the past 15 or 20 years.
So they do go to people's houses, like people say in these stories?
Yeah.
Would they come to mine if I went and looked for them?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, we have Two of Rings here, and that's very much talking about partnerships, and it's weird that would come up.
Because I did look for them. I'm not planning on looking for them again, but
yeah, I would.
Since I did.
We're talking about something that's a unnatural force.
Yeah. I noticed they're not like other spirits.
No, they're non-human entities.
I see them as demonic, yeah.
Okay, yeah. They're definitely non-human.
100%.
They are less than positive.
Oh, that's something I would expect, that they're not positive.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, is they are, when we talk about malicious, you've got your demonic powers that are malicious, all right?
Yeah.
The black-eyed children are a different level of malicious. It's they're completely dispassionate. They are naturally just predators. Think about a sports hunter who all they want to do is wipe out whatever's in front of them.
Yeah.
That's more along the lines what the black-eyed children are.
What is their goal with this, going to people's houses like that? Because that's not something any normal spirit really does like that, in that fashion.
No, it isn't.
They're so interesting.
But they're absolutely interesting and frightening.
Oh, yeah. They're the number one thing I'm afraid of looking at my window.
Absolutely. You hear a pop, and then you're at your door, and they want in. But they got to be invited in. And that's the curious part. They can't just come in. They got to be invited in. I also told him that I invited them to my house, and what awaits me now that I've done that, because if you guys remember from the Black-Eyed Children series I did in October last year, I did a seance. Now, yeah, a seance can invite them. They're not going to touch like a ghost detector in your hand. They're not going to make it light up. They're not going to have it make noise to let you know that they're in the room. They're very different spirits. They don't operate like that. They act like they're human. They go up to your door, like we said in the video, knock on it, and that is what happens. They don't use equipment. I did a seance to talk to other spirits about them. That can technically be inviting the black-eyed children too, because I'm talking about them. I'm allowing them to come to the house and possibly show themselves. That was the point of the series in that episode 2 portion where I was trying to invite stuff to the house. So we talked about, will they come to my house? This is what he said. So now what awaits is them showing up? Well, then there's that extra layer, right? You get the
The knock at the door.
Knock at the door. Can we come in and use your phone?
Because nothing happened at that moment, but...
Can we come in? We want in. Let us in. Right? It goes from the can we to the we need to the let us in.
Would this be something that would happen to me soon?
You just asking the question sets your energy in a different direction. Here's the question. Do you want something like that to happen to you soon? They show up when they're least expected.
That's true. That's literally every story I read.
Right? And it's usually people who weren't even thinking about them. That wasn't even on their mind.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason whom they showed up to and why they showed up.
I've heard there were some people that knew briefly what they were and they still showed up.
And then thoughts leave their mind. They lose capacity of rational thought. They find themselves going to open the door without realizing they're going to open the door.
Would they be attracted to me since this has happened, since I invited them in?
More than likely, but at the same time...
Or invited them to come to my house, per se. They didn't show up yet.
Yeah. But more than likely, they are going to come at a time of their choosing and not when you're expecting it.
See, like when I was doing the series, the reason I did it was to see if they were real. I initially did want them to come to my house just to see if they were. So I went to every means. I went to alleyways, I went to parks and places where they would normally be seen by people other than at their houses or whatever.
Yeah.
Would the cards be able to tell me if they are attracted more?
Well, they're not going to come to you when you're looking for them. And the fact that you were calling on them makes it less likely that they actually want to show up.
So they won't?
More than likely not. I mean, we've got the death card that underpins all of this, and that's just fundamental change.
But they are real with the knocking on the door?
They're very real with the knocking at the door. There have been several stories, experiences, that just, it's impossible to debunk them. You know, it's impossible to just say, no, that didn't happen.
Like, no spirit I know comes up to a door, knocks on it, and is just like, hey, can I come in? Mm-hmm. And then they get real stern about it, you know?
It's pure darkness. Which stands to reason, because if you've got entities that are of pure light, you have to have the complete opposite. Why do they pop out? Why are they coming and visiting people? That's the thing that we need to understand. But those black-eyed children, I tell you, they scare the ever-living bejesus out of me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's not something I want to experience.
But they would come for me if I wasn't thinking about them, just like watching TV?
No, that's the thing, is you consciously made an effort to seek them out, right? They don't want that conscious effort, because now you're prepared for their visit.
If I were you guys watching this video, I would definitely look at the warnings of what they do and how you could prepare if they came to your door. Just like analyze the stories and be like, oh, this is how they operate, and then maybe they won't show up. I've still been scared since this series of like them appearing at my window or knocking at my window or my door or something. Like I still have that little sense of like, they could still show up though. They show up unexpected. They don't want people to be ready for them. So I asked him, like, if I was at a friend's house that didn't know anything about them, I would be the one that's there that knows about them and I know the dangers, but my friend doesn't. So it would be more unexpected for him. So would they show up if someone was there that actually knows the dangers?
Even if it's just a little bit, you're prepared for that visit.
Yeah.
They much more prefer visiting the mother who's got a kid in the back seat.
What if there's someone that's like, they don't know about them, but like if I was there, would they show up or no? They would just steer clear.
That's hard to say. I doubt they would show, because then there's still somebody there that
knows,
that has an idea of what to do in order to protect themselves.
Cause yeah, that does make sense. Cause like if I'm like not thinking about them, but like if I hear the knock at the door, I'm gonna know.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna immediately think it's them.
Yeah, instantly comes in your head. Whereas nobody who's ever thought about them gets a knock at the door.
Right.
You're not thinking black-eyed children. You're thinking, oh, who's at my door?
Right.
You're gonna go to the door. You're gonna answer the door, and oh my goodness, what's with these children? And you're not even gonna register that they look weird until you register that they look weird.
Yeah.